guys, what's up? It's Hope, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit different of a video. Obviously, Andy and I have been trying to get pregnant for a very long time now, and we have had our baby names picked out since year one of our marriage. Like, we always have had these specific names that we absolutely love, that if the baby's a boy, we've got it figured out. If the baby's a girl, we've got it figured out. So this video is going to be the 10 baby girl names that we absolutely love, but we will not be using for whatever reason. There's 10 of these names, and a lot of them we just love the old school kind of traditional feel of them. Some of them are kind of come from like family where we wish we could use them, but we already have family members that already have kids named that because we've been trying for so long that like there for a little while we've always had like our number one girl and our number one boy name. But there for a little while, it was like we would like a name and then someone would, you know, name their kid that, and we're like, no. And of course, like, some people don't care. Some people are like, I don't care if that's my baby name. And I feel like we would feel that way about our number one girl name and our number one boy name. But there's just some names that if other people take, we're just like, oh, it just wasn't meant to be. So this list is in no particular order. They're all just a bunch of random names. And after each clip, I'll make sure and put like the spelling so that way y'all can kind of see what name what spelling we would choose if we could. I'm not real big into like crazy spellings of names. I know some people put in the South, a lot of people will add Y's where there's I's and Z's where there's X's and just crazy stuff. Like, you would not believe the spellings that I see on a daily basis. A lot of it doesn't make any sense, but that's just what people do down here. So we're not a big fan of crazy spellings, but anyway, hopefully you get something out of this video. It is a little bit different of a video for me, but I figured it was something light and fun, and it's been a while since I did something like this. The very first name that we absolutely love but we will not be using is the name Nellie. I love the name Nellie. It was actually my mom's name, so my grandma. She actually died 6 days after I was born, so I don't remember meeting her. Obviously, she met me and she held me when I was a baby, but I unfortunately never got the chance to meet her. But I absolutely love the name. I feel like it's so beautiful, it's timeless, it's classic. Just love the name Nellie. But my grandma was she was very interesting in the fact that she was really superstitious, and she was sick a lot and just had all these different kinds of ailments. And before she passed away, she had MS and could barely walk and ended up in a wheelchair, just all these different things. And so she made all of her kids promise that no one would name their kid after her because she felt like it was jinxed, which breaks my heart, because from what I have heard, she was a really incredible lady. My mom talked about her a lot. And so we love the name Nellie, but unfortunately, because of a promise that my mom made a long time ago, we cannot obviously use that name. But I definitely love the name Nellie. Okay, so the second name that we love but will not be using is the name Raleigh. Now, the name Raleigh is actually a family name, and so I absolutely love the name. The only thing is I don't like the way I sound when I say it, so I feel like that will always be something that I struggle with. I just sound, the southern drawl is definitely there. I know that I have an accent, especially when I use words that have the long I. Hear that? And so sometimes I don't hear it, and then people will comment and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a strong accent, I'm from the South. But I feel like that would consistently trip me up. I don't like the way I sound when I say the name Riley, and so I feel like that's a reason why we would probably never use the name. Like I said, it is a family name, and so I do love the fact that there are some roots within the name. But I don't think it's a name that we're ever going to use because of how incredibly country I sound when I say the name. No offense to any people out there that are super country or have that southern drawl. I definitely have it. But I feel like it would constantly kind of trip me up, and I just don't like the way I sound when I say it, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, so the third name that we love but we will not be using is the name Presley. I love the name Presley. I think it's beautiful. I think it's dainty. It sounds like a girly girl, which, you know, probably my little girl will not be a girly girl. She'll probably be outside climbing trees and playing sports and doing everything that her daddy loves. But I love the name Presley. It's gotten a lot more popular here in recent years. Obviously, I think the most popular Presley is Elvis Presley, but I actually had a student the other day and her name came across my desk and it was Presley, and I thought, oh my gosh, I really do love that name. Andy does not like it. He is not a fan of Presley. He's not a fan of a lot of the names on this list, so even though I say this is a list of names that we love but we will not be using, most of the time he doesn't like them. He's super traditional when it comes to picking names, so yeah, we will not be going with Presley. Alright, so the fourth name that we love but we absolutely will not be using is the name McKenna. I love this name. Andy hates this name. There are a couple names on this list that he does not like. Absolutely will draw the line, will not be using it for sure. And so I love the name McKenna. It is a newer name. There's not really a whole lot of kids that I know that are named McKenna. But I like the way it sounds when I say it. I like how it kind of rolls off my tongue. It sounds super hip and trendy. I just love the name McKenna. And I think that's the reason why Andy doesn't like it, is because it sounds kind of trendy. He likes really traditional classic names, and so I don't feel like that would be something that we would ever go with. I feel like that's always going to be on his absolutely not list. And so for those reasons, we definitely will not be using the name McKenna. The fifth name is actually a name that's been around for a really long time, but in more recent years, it's definitely gotten a lot more popular. Andy and I both really like this name. We're just not 100% on it. So the name is Kennedy, traditional spelling, just like JFK's name, their last name. But I feel like it's such a beautiful girl name. I feel like it would be so precious on a little girl, the name Kennedy. I don't know, and it's super southern. I feel like it sounds super southern, super traditional, super classic. You'll kind of see that theme throughout all of these names, but I don't know, it's not something that we're absolutely in love with. We just really like the name. It's a pretty name. I feel like it would be really beautiful on a little girl, but also be okay for a grown-up. I don't know. I love the name. I feel like it's a beautiful name, and I would love to be able to use it someday, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen. We are definitely not going to be using the name Kennedy. So the sixth name that we absolutely love but we will not be using is the name Willow. It is just way too trendy for my husband. He is like, absolutely not. I will never agree to that. Definitely never going to appear on any of his lists. But I love the name. I love the name Willow. My favorite tree is the weeping willow, and I think it's just an absolutely beautiful tree. I actually collect, you can find these little figurines at Hallmark or Cracker Barrel or like Christian gift stores. I collect these little figurines called willow trees, and they're beautiful. They don't have any faces. It sounds kind of weird, but they look like they're sculpted out of the willow tree, and so they're the weeping willow, and so they're called willow trees. And there's lots of different occasions, and each one of them means something special. It's engraved on the bottom what each one, anyway, so I've gotten those for every special occasion probably for the last 6 or 7 years. I absolutely love them. So I love the name Willow. I think it's just, there's just something really just earthy about it and rooted, and I feel like it's such a strong name, and I would absolutely definitely name my kid that. I feel like it would go good with our last name. I just feel like it's a really classic name. Like I said, it's more popular in today's world than it has been in the past, but I feel like it's such a strong name, and that's why I love it. Obviously the husband doesn't agree, and so we will not be using the name Willow. The seventh name that we love but we will not be using is the name Paisley. I love that name. I think it's beautiful and it's girly, and I feel like a little girl would just, ringlets and big bows in her hair would just be the most absolutely precious thing ever. My husband definitely does not like the name Paisley. He said it sounds weird and it's a design on fabric. I think he's so funny, but he doesn't like it, so that's why we're not going to be using it. He just would never agree to that name. It's definitely another trendy name that's really popular, especially in the South right now. I know quite a few little girls with the name Paisley, so I feel like it would be really cute for a little girl, but I'm not sure if that would really, if it would sound, I guess, good for an adult to say it as their name. I don't know. But I feel like it's such a cute name. It's so girly. I absolutely love it. But Andy is like, nope, not happening. So we will not be naming our little girl Paisley. The 8th name that we love but we will not be using is the name Hadley. I am absolutely obsessed with this name. It probably is my 2nd or 3rd favorite name of all time. I love how unique it is. I love how it's super different. It's kind of modern. It's kind of trendy. Still super Southern. Still really traditional. Andy is not a big fan of the name Hadley. He says it just sounds weird. And so I don't think it'll ever be one of those names that I can convince him to love. I absolutely love the name Hadley. I think it sounds cute. I think it sounds so adorable for a little girl. I think it's also a name has strong roots, so I feel like it would sound good with being for a girl that grew up into be a woman. I feel like it'd be really easy and still professional to introduce yourself. That's something that we kind of worry about a lot, is giving our kid a strong name that's going to take them through their entire life. And so we oftentimes, when we look at names or we start kind of pondering names again, we want to make sure that the name, whatever name they have, is a name that is professional. It's something they can use when they grow up. The 9th name that we absolutely love but we will not be using is the name Reagan. I think it is such a strong name. I absolutely love the name Reagan for a girl. I love the fact that it could be a boy or a girl's name. This is another name that Andy does not love. He doesn't hate it, but he doesn't love it either. It was actually on our baby name list for a very long time. And I think we just got kind of tired of it, which obviously is not a good sign. So we ended up taking it off our list. I don't think it'll be something that we ever use. It's one of the few names on the list that doesn't end in like a Y or an IE or that E sound. I think Reagan is such a strong name. I love that it can be used for a boy or a girl, but I don't feel like it's a name that we would probably choose for our baby girl in the future. Name that we love but we will not be using is the name Aubry. I love the name Aubry. I think it's traditional. I think it's classic. I love the name Aubry, and my grandpa actually had a brother named Aubry, and so it's kind of a family name, but I just love it. But I actually have a niece named Audrey, and I feel like it'd be weird if I named my kid Aubrey. There'd be Audrey and Aubrey. Anyway, so Andy likes the name Aubry. He probably likes it a little more than I do, and I just can't get over the fact that it sounds too similar to someone else, obviously, in my family, my niece. So we love that name, but we will not be using the name Aubry. And that's it, guys. That is the list of the top 10 baby girl names that we love but we will not be using. I'm also going to be doing another video for boy names. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions on baby names that you love or names that you didn't like that you ended up using. I feel like that probably happens a lot more than usual, because in the very beginning we liked names, and it's been so long since we started trying to get pregnant that some of the names that we liked in the beginning we really don't like anymore, which is really kind of interesting. So feel free to leave your comments or suggestions or just advice on baby names in the comments below, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!